Welcome everyone to another episode of Big Brain MMA podcast, episode 25, season finale of Contender Series. We've got a special guest, Subliminal MMA, sharp guy from Twitter. Quick little backstory. Always used to, when I just made Twitter, I was following this dude and I was seeing his pics. And a few weeks in, I was like, man, this guy picks the exact same stuff as me. And it just kept happening and happening. And a little difference, he kind of pulls the trigger a little bit more. Sometimes I pass, but when he does play, and I passed on those fights, he ends up cleaning up. I'm like, damn it! I knew I should have had those plays. But also, when I pass and those bets lose, then I feel good about myself too. But did you want to tell us a bit about yourself, mate?
Yeah, I'm Subliminal MMA. Good start. I've been on Twitter for about 4 years, just kind of betting. Started betting UFC with like 50p, and then just kind of started following people and building up a following myself. And then I found betmma.tips, started tracking, and then just really enjoy looking into fights, betting fights, talking with everyone on Twitter. Hopefully we can find some bets today.
Yeah, you got some nice bets. It just made sense that we have a chat because we're always on the same page.
Yeah.
And I always do these by myself. So I was like, why not get a guest on for the last episode and make it a bit more interesting if people are sick of listening to me. I'll go over my little recap last week. What do we got? As I always do that. I think it was another little tiny profit. All right, we've got some Eternal MMA here. Who was last week? Why can't I remember? Who was the main event, do you know?
It was the Ferreira.
Okay, so this one was annoying because I passed on everything. I remember you told me the first guy of the fight, first fight. I forgot his name, Echeverria or whatever.
Yeah, Echeverria. Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I can't. I taped it twice. I don't like it. And then I ended up live betting Philo after round 2 at Pick'em, so I hit that.
Nice. Yeah.
Hit the under there. Hit the finish, the under 2.5 in the Elias fight, just because everyone was hammering by decision, and I thought there's just no value here. Might as well go the other way for a sprinkle. You never know.
Yeah.
So I was super happy with that. Then I was annoyed that I lost most of it on my one Jacoby sprinkle because that was actually a quarter unit. Everything else was just fun. And then I got a parlay. I lost under 2.5 in the row house, and then I ended up in profit by absolutely hammering the one start round 3 in the main event, which in hindsight was the best bet on the card, and probably should have just put a unit on that and just leave it at that. But yeah, I got about 370, just under 0.4 units, which whatever. Like I said, I always talk about my profit is so tiny bit by bit, but I'll take that. Hopefully we can smash out something good today.
Yeah, anything will be better than than last week. I won 3.56 units on the UFC last week, and then I lost 3.56 units on the Contender Series. So
that's what
that was a write-off. That was a write-off.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. But I had a decent weekend this past weekend. Just over 1 units, I think. Yeah, 1.2 or something. I haven't made any bets for this Contender Series yet, but I do have some that I am tempted by.
You'll make some bets, mate. After this, trust me.
100%.
When you get on the big brain, that's the end. I'll get it started.
Yeah.
So first fight, Ashika Jim Matuos Mendoka. Interesting fight. I laid a quarter unit on a Gym after tape, and then I put another quarter unit, just thinking that it's going to get absolutely juiced. And then I have a little bit of cold feet recently, to be honest. I just feel like I saw a lot of holes in Mendoka. He's a really good jiu-jitsu fighter. He's 23. Some of the tape I was watching, it was 20, 19, 21, which is the general mistake people make with these young fighters. I thought, Ajim is a decent fighter. Yes, bad look losing to old mate punching bag, the guy that was cut. I always forget names first thing in mind. Chris Moutinho.
Yeah.
He dropped him there, and it was kind of like the Sean O'Malley fight. And even the Sean O'Malley fight, Sean O'Malley kind of looked like he really didn't like the pressure for a bit, and he got cracked a few times by Moutinho. But it's just obviously a whole another level, and he had great cardio and movement, whereas Ajim just kind of faltered under pressure in round 2 and got KO'd. There's really not much footage of him grappling at all, even in his 2 amateur fights. He does have round 3 finishes, round 3 decisions in pro and amateur, but there's just no tape on that, which is annoying. So all I have is, good boxing, good power, southpaw switches, can go for his own takedowns. In amateurs, he's taking people down, and he got a guillotine in his last fight. So he seems to have okay grappling. He seems comfortable there because he is initiating grappling exchanges, and he's beating people up on top. But you just have to make a lot of assumptions here. Hopefully you can tell me what his black belt, what his belt is, because I went on Instagram, couldn't find it. But Mendoka is just an aggressive young Brazilian dude. Fights mostly in future. Loses a lot of positions, likes to grapple. He's a bit wild on the feet, which is one of the reasons I play at Ajim. Just a typical reckless kid that hasn't lost. And he's even been dropped in one of his fights. And initially goes for takedowns after that. So it's just like, I don't know, if he can't submit Ajim and he's going to stand in the pocket with him for prolonged periods of time, he's hittable, he's wild, he's a bit sloppy. A lot of the people he takes down, he loses position. He's very submission over position. He's constantly falling off. I can just see Ajim handling himself in the grappling, and maybe winning a decision. But my problem is the cardio. I haven't seen the cardio of Ajim other than the time he folded against Moutinho.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I got cold feet is, if he keeps getting round 1 finishes after that, and he gets out of round 1, maybe the cardio is still exactly the same, and he hasn't really improved it, because he could just be a round 1 or bust guy, for all we know. And Mendoka can get hurt and just get up and keep grappling, and then it's all downhill from there. He might be KO or bust, or maybe he's not. Maybe he comes out there looking good, composed. We see it all the time on contender fighters come out looking much better. But it's a big number, so that's why I got tempted. I saw that 3.2, and I was like, ooh, he's got the KO power. He's more seasoned. I was a young guy on contender, so that's what I have at the moment. I have a feeling the line it hasn't gone that way, but he might get a bit more narrow, because these contender lines really get narrow usually after weigh-ins. It seems like people take this really late. So at the moment, I have half a unit on the gym. We'll see how we go towards the end of the week. If my cold feet stay cold, I will hedge it a bit. But could be a live bet opportunity. I think the line is going to narrow a bit when Mendoka eats a few shots and before Ajim gasses. But other than that, that's me at the moment. You got any takes?
Yeah, I pretty much agree. Mendoka, I saw him get dropped. What fight was it? I think he got rocked by Rodriguez pretty bad, but then he went for a takedown. He just seems to kind of like use his striking to get in on takedowns. He's not got the best control. He's got all right takedowns, but not the best control. He can kind of submit lower level guys, but yeah, as you say, he's pretty wild on the feet. He's hittable, so I think Ajim can hurt him if he can land clean. I much prefer Ajim's stand up. I think he's a much better striker. But yeah, it's that cardio. That fight against Chris Moutinho is not a good look. He dropped Moutinho bad, and I think he walked off thinking he was going to get a walk-off KO. But then obviously Moutinho just like zombied forward and knocked him out. Well, TKO'd him in the second round. And we've seen Mendoka in like pretty high-paced fights, and he seems all right in the third round. I think I watched the Ajim fight versus Rodriguez when they knocked him out in the third, and his cardio looked much better than it did in the Moutinho fight, but Rodriguez wasn't really pushing any sort of pace, and I feel like Mendoka might do that. But he's been out for 2 years. Mendoka. He's only 23, so he might have improved. Training at Charles Oliveira's gym, or training with Charles Oliveira. Yeah, I think I probably agree. There's some value, but I haven't played anything yet.
Did you say you found that Rodriguez fight?
Yes.
Okay, I'll get you to link it to me after.
It's on Fight Pass.
Yeah, Tape Index let me down. I don't know why it's not on Tape Index.
Yeah, you just type in CES 60 and it comes up with the whole event.
I thought sometimes you can just do your own due diligence, but yeah, as soon as I saw CES, I'm like, surely this is on Fight Pass. They all are, but that's okay. We seem to be on the same page. I watched that fight. Like you said, a lot of people are not going to push the pace like Moutinho, and nothing tires you out more than dropping people and beating him up, and then they keep coming.
Yeah.
But Mendoka, that's what I said. Mendoka seems the same. The fight that he got dropped in, instant takedown, and he might be defending grappling ASAP, and no real room to pick him apart. But who knows? It's sometimes you can just play the number, and maybe a gym gets a guillotine. You just play the number and hope for the best.
I mean, at what is he at? It's plus 230 now. Like, how long can you go for? Like,
exactly, it's a no-brainer, and you can always fade these young people. Next one, Rafael Ramos, Esteban versus Joe Elias. These guys have got a million names online, Macapa, and remember the first 3-4 fights, I didn't know who I was taping or who was fighting or which one was which. Really good fight. This is my favorite fight on the whole card. Can't wait to watch this one. This is actually excites me to watch this, not just from a betting perspective. Really good jiu-jitsu guys, similarities. I think both UFC ready. I'll let you take away this one, mate.
Yes, we've got two fighters from both training out of Brazil. Ramos is Nova União guy, so training with like Jose Aldo and stuff. There's not a huge amount of tape. I don't know how you did with finding tape, but
just 3 fights.
Yeah, I mean, how much can we really tell? Like, found his last fights on Fight Pass. Took the guy down, controlled him, and then just his cardio looked pretty good, to be honest. He kept taking him down, got the mount. I think he got out, and then he took him down again, got mount again, and then just ground and pounded him to the finish. But then the fights before that, like the 4 fights before that, I just can't. It's nowhere to be seen. So it's hard to kind of say what he's like. I mean, he looks like he's primarily a grappler, just uses his strikes to get, push them to the fence and get takedowns. But then I taped Elias, who's also trains out of Brazil. He's only 5'3", so he's only little, but he's a powerhouse. He swings pretty wild, but he's pretty physical. Moves forward, and I taped it before the line came out, and I kind of like thought Elias might be, because of the lack of tape on Ramos. I thought, and that is quite a lot of tape on Elias. I thought that he would be maybe a slight favourite, but the line came out and he's like almost a 2-1 dog. So yeah, I like Elias in this fight, to be honest. Maybe Ramos wins, but it's like, how can you justify minus 245? There's nothing to go off, and Elias, I don't think he's going to out-grapple Elias. Who's he fought? Yeah, he went to a draw with Bruno Caher. I can't remember why that was a draw. I did watch it. He ate like a massive flying knee from Korea.
It didn't really make any sense, honestly. I taped that twice when Caher was making his debut against CJ Vergara.
Yeah.
And I just left it. I'm like, I can't really understand why it's a draw, so I just didn't worry about it.
Yeah, but that was a good fight. He gets tired, but he fights through it. Like, he's one of these guys that just fights through fatigue pretty well. As I said, he's hard to take down. He's got nice trips and double legs against the cage. He did get knocked out by a knee, but I think overall he's got a pretty solid chin. But I don't think Ramos is gonna like threaten with any, he hasn't got like some crazy KO power or anything. But to be honest, I think he's just a favorite because he's 10-0, training at a decent gym. and the other guy is 17-3. You know, I think it's just like wicket capping. But I'll probably be on Elias, but I'm just waiting for my books in the UK to see what I can get. I can get plus 175 at the moment, but I want to see if I can get like a little bit higher. But I think there's value at that anyway. But what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of agree. When you told me there might be some value, I didn't have any odds, so I couldn't see, so I just taped it, and I had to go back a bit further for Joe Elias's tape, because a lot of his recent tape is like 30-second arm bars.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let's go back a bit further, because I can't really get a read from these. And then then I saw the Bruno Correa fight, and like I said, I taped it for Correa's debut, and I was like, I remember this kid. This guy, I thought he might have beat Correa, and he's just a powerhouse, man. Just a power. And I think personally, Correa is a UFC level flyweight. He just got stiffed with CJ's best PTV. He's got really good clinch knees, and he hit him in the liver of all places as well.
Yeah.
So I think Correa would have just stuck and moved for 3 rounds against CJ if he didn't get steamrolled. And that's what it did to Elias. Elias is just an aggressive little new ball. They have a lot of similarities. Ramos, they both come forward. They're hittable. They want to take down, and they drown people with their jiu-jitsu and their striking. If they can't get the takedown, they can strike. Nickal is just a lot more output. Just in that last fight in LFA, just constant tips to the body, just pressure. And then when he started swinging with 5 seconds to go in round 1, he got dropped. So I'm like, okay. And what it comes down to is Nickal seems less physical, less stronger. He can get reversed. I mean, Elias can too. They're both very comfortable into their jiu-jitsu, so they don't really mind losing position. And Elias is going to go for arm bars a lot more frequently from what I've seen. He loves the arm bar. And he's even beaten people like, draw with Bruno. He beat Rafael Costa. Submitted Rafael Costa, who was an LFA champ, 9-1, black belt. I mean, he beat Janilton Matos, who's good. Mateus Gabriel, like these guys are all animals. His last loss is a KO to a 21-6 guy. So yeah, I guess he can get KO'd. I mean, Macapa doesn't have the best striking. All these KOs are attritional ground and pound.
Yeah.
And it's not even the first mount. It's the third, fourth mount. When he mounts them, and then they get tired from constantly getting up and scrambling. Whereas I've actually seen Elias drop people with one punch and KO him. He reminds me of a John Lineker. I've seen him a lot more dangerous with his jiu-jitsu. Like, even if you look at Ramos's decision, late round 2, late round 3, he's just an attritional fighter. Whereas Elias comes forward and he runs through people. He either submits him, or he hurts him, or he drops him. And the main thing here is Elias, he can't be held down. He's so explosive. You take him down, he's going to explode. So I think if you're going to play the dog here, it's a bit of a volatile fight. But like I said, both aggressive, both hittable, both come forward. But you might as well hit the massive dog, and you might as well hit the guy that's 17-3, fought the high level of competition, and he's got the physical advantages and. Not physical as in height, but physical as in he's strong, explosive, can't be held down. Like there was in the Bruno Correa fight and the one after that, he kept getting taken down over and over again, which is what you want to see. And Bruno is also a black belt, and just no time. No time on mount, no time on bottom anywhere. His first instinct, even when gassed, is to dig an underhook and get up. And then he gets his own takedowns, which are a lot more explosive, a lot more eye-catching for the judges, because he usually slams people. So I agree with you, man. It's a dog or pass.
Yep.
It could be a sweaty one. I do think the main reason he's a favorite is because Elias has been knocked out four fights ago. You can actually see that on his topology. And also, Macapa just won an LFA title, not an LFA title, but an LFA fight against a 7-0 guy. So it's like, Brazilian regional scene versus a guy that won an LFA fight. They always like the Bonfim brothers. Anyone that wins an LFA, the bookies love it.
Yeah.
But Macapa was an underdog in that fight. So there you go.
Oh, really?
My bit of a plus 70 underdog. So maybe a bit of a recency bias, which we see a lot.
I know the commentators in that fight were surprised when Ramos took him down. They said wow, they're taking down the wrestler. But so maybe he was a wrestler. That's why he was the favorite. But
he does have good takedowns. It's just he has good takedowns when he locks his hands against the cage. But Elias has good takedowns all the time. He's just explosive doubles, everything, trips. So I think this is a no-brainer. You're putting your money behind a guy that will literally fight for your money, dude. He's a 17-3 dog. So just have to agree on my stakes. But yeah, on the same page there.
Cool.
Okay. Leonardos versus Jack Jenkins. We've got a guy from Australia here. I actually taped Jack Jenkins recently when I was betting on Untitled MMA for the first time, low-level Australian regionals. He fought a 9-7 guy who is decent and just won recently. And I thought, this guy's not bad for Australian standards. I wonder what he's going to do in the future. And then a week later, he was on Contender. And he was a title fight. He showed a lot of composure. But that's pretty much it. Jenkins is a very patient striker. Mostly leg kicks, calf kicks. His calf kicks seem to break everyone down. Body kicks, switches it to a high kick occasionally, switches stances, feints, draws stuff out of opponents. He used to do a lot of, he used to grapple a lot. He's very strong physical. Gets to mount straight away, gets to the back control ASAP. But recently he's had a lot more striking oriented fights. So he just seems so good, so comfortable in the stand up, with the calf kicks and the striking that he just doesn't need to proactively grapple anymore. And he's knocking people out. He's breaking people. You see they want to quit from the calf kicks. They are low-level fighters, though, on the Australian scene. So on the other side, Freddy Leonardos, he's a young Ecuadorian dude. He kind of reminds me of the other Ecuadorian dude that's in the UFC. Knocked out Trevin Giles. He kind of seems like a boxer, very aggressive boxer, striker, a lot more fleet-footed. But then you start seeing him suplexing people all around the octagon. He's got actually really good suplex when he gets to the back. Good double legs, good getting to the back. And then I thought, okay, this is a viable dog. I love betting these Latino young aggressive guys that seem to have a bad regional scene tape, and then people underestimate them, and then they come in there just like Morales, against that Ukrainian guy who was a massive underdog, and people thought he was a striker, and then he comes in and he's throwing the Ukrainian guy around, So he looks good. He is a bit hittable, and he loves a war. I love how he mixes the strikes up when he hurts someone, goes to the body shots, elbows, flying knees. It's very explosive. I like to see it. But then if things go wrong, he just uses his wrestling. So I thought, well-rounded guy, man, well-rounded guy. And obviously, Jack is the lot more juiced favorite. But then I thought if he pushes the pace, Jack, like I said, Jack likes to be patient. It might not be the fight that he wants. And Jack has been finished twice. Yes, it was a few years ago, and he rematched one of the guys, Medina, and finished him. You could see a lot of improvement, but no one is pushing the pace like Linares. Everyone is giving Jack the fight that he wants. They're staying on the outside and getting calf kicked. And when they go to take him down, he actually has good takedown defense. So it's rough. I actually, after watching Jack's last fight, his Eternal MMA title fight defense, I think that was his third in a row. That's also where Jack Della's from. He used a lot more hands. So instead of calf kicking and body kicking, his hands looked amazing. So all of a sudden he's ripping the body, he's jabbing. I'm like, oh man, this guy's leveling up. He's leveling up every single fight. And now he's like a pressure boxer like Jack Della. And he's got calf kicks, and he's got insane takedown defense, and he's got a top game that he doesn't even use. So yeah, I wanted to play the dog, but he's very aggressive, he's very hittable. He's got the boxing stance, so I think Jack can take advantage of the calf kicks. But yeah, I also can't play Jack at worse than -200. It just seems like a pass fight. Palms fight. I got excited about the dog, and then I just both of their last fights, Linares looked a bit worse against the bad fighter, whereas Jack looked improved again. So I was like, okay. So unfortunately, great fight, but I'm passing on this one.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I was going to say Jack actually reminds me of the other Jack, Della Manalena. Yeah. When I was watching him, I thought they kind of had similar striking styles. I do like the striking of Jack. He throws in combinations, throws to the body. As you say, his leg kicks are really like one of his main weapons. I think if he hits Leonardos with a few leg kicks, I don't think he'll be like, he likes to use a lot of movement, Leonardos. So I think if he can damage his leg, that'll probably, go well for Jack. But yeah, I kind of agree. I don't think there's much of an angle. I kind of find it a bit hard to get a read on Leonardos. Like how he's 8-1, but he's obviously been fighting out of the Mexican regional scene, so it's hard to get a solid read on him. I see why Jack's a favourite. He does look like the cleaner fighter, and I think I watched, what fight was it? He gets I think Gonzalez dropped Leonardos with like the first punch of the fight, and it was a left hook, which is also one of Jack's main weapons. I'm not really that interested in playing the dog, although it could be, you could argue that it's a bit wide. What is he at now? He's like plus 205. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty wide. I definitely wouldn't play Jenkins at minus 275. He doesn't really go for many takedowns, like to put a stamp on the round and stuff. He does like a clean kickboxing match. But I mean, they both seem to have decent cardio, but I do feel like Jenkins will eventually wear down Leonardos. Maybe Jenkins round 3 or something. That might be interesting, but we haven't got any props out yet. But otherwise, I don't see Leonardos finishing Jenkins, although he does seem to have some power if he can catch them on the end of his punches. But you probably. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a pass fight, to be honest, but it should be a fun fight to watch. But yeah, I'm not running to bet it, to be honest.
That's a good shout. Round 3 decision. What I hear Basharat for. Like, Jack's not going to rush, and he had his last opponent absolutely destroyed in round 1 and 2, and he went to a 5-round decision, and the guy actually fought back, took him down in the 5th. So
yeah, I saw that.
That's the questions I have. If Leonardos pushes that pace, and you can't kick backwards, so maybe live bet will be a good fight here. See how Leonardos comes out. Round 1 is over and it's close, and he hasn't taken any leg kicks. Then Jack has a fight on his hands. And even if he grapples, the other hole that I saw in Leonardos' game is he falls off the top a lot. So when he gets a suplex, he's almost happy to go for an armbar and lose it. Yeah. And he's not gonna triangle Jenkins off his back doing that. So he needs to be careful in that fight. It's just a lot of green mistakes I've seen. But again, we've seen these green South American fighters come in and fix that on Contender. They fight a lot more patient because this is their opportunity to be in the UFC. Maybe live bet, maybe see how Leonardos looks. Just live bet it, but I agree, it's another good fight. Okay, maybe this fight probably shouldn't take too long. Just because I assume you haven't seen much tape like myself. So Sam Patterson, the future, Vinícius Sensi Chambinho, whatever that means. You're Brazilian, you can translate it for me. Probably means like stumpy penis or something. So Sam Peterson, really long, fluid striker, fights good backwards, doesn't seem very physical, has a good guillotine. And Vinícius honestly seems the same to me from what I've seen. He's got 2 fights online that I could find. A lot of submissions, pretty much 90% of his fights are submissions, and he got submitted. In that one fight, he got the submission. He dropped him with a nice left-right. These guys seem exactly the same. They seem like 2 stand-up fighters with a good guillotine, and potentially Sensi has a better Brazilian acumen, a jiu-jitsu acumen. But like I said, not much tape on Sensi. So I'll ask you if you got any thoughts, but no pressure if you don't.
Yeah, I looked into this one today. It was the last one I had to look into. Obviously Sam's been fighting in Brave for quite a while. He does have a nasty guillotine. I watched all of his guillotine wins. He does. He locks it up really quick. He's a 6'4" lightweight, which I think would definitely be the tallest lightweight in the UFC. if he got in. So yeah, he's got long, lanky arms, so he just wraps it up so quick. I watched the 2 fights that are available on Senshi, and he doesn't look terrible, to be honest. But I mean, it's hard to get a read. You've only got 2 fights, and they're quite far apart. He's training at King's MMA, so obviously pretty good camp. Saw on his Instagram, training with Marvin Vettori. So yeah, I think, as you say, they're very similar. It's hard to know what weaknesses Senshi has, because we've seen just 2 wins. One went to the second round. His cardio looked fine. So I don't think cardio is going to be an issue for either guy. But what are the odds at now? -240, -250 for Sam. I mean, he probably wins, but it's impossible to say based on the lack of tape of Senshi. Senshi could come in looking really good and take Sam down, and also Sam has like questionable, standing, like tall man's defense. He just doesn't seem to get cracked that often, but he did get knocked out, and his only loss was a knockout. Yeah, I don't really know. I'd have to look at the props, see if there's anything. Maybe I don't think the over would be that good anyway, but yeah, it should be a fun fight, but no play for me at the moment.
Personally, man, I'm really close to just playing Sensi.
Yeah.
I know there's no tape, but he's just Patterson. Yes, he's fought on Brave, but I mean, Osmaev is a fraud. He's not a proper, he's 10-6. Kamil Magomedov, yeah, okay, whatever, he's good. Felipe Silva he was in the UFC and he hits like a truck, but he's very chinny. And the way Sam was backing up in that fight with his hands down, looking for the counter shot, and just avoided all those big shots. He has been knocked out in his only loss as well. He's got that tall man defense. Yeah. Which was an early stoppage, I agree.
Yeah, it was.
And it was Hardeep Rai. Anyone that loses to a Hardeep by KO, I'm sorry. But no, it's just like again, big number. And I was on that DWCS Prodigy against Kim when everyone was hammering Kim on Juice. Simon. Yeah. Because there was only one fight on tape, and I found all 5 of his fights, and I'm like, this kid should be the favorite, and he ended up knocking him out. So it's just like, I feel sometimes when there's no tape, people, and we've just had like something's happened. So this guy didn't have a fight in 3 years, Vincius Sensi, and I just clicked on his topology, and he has another fight that's happened last year in October. So they've added that on.
There's got a little warning on his page.
It's got a what, sorry?
You see the warning on his Tapology page. It says that one of the promotions he fought for has a pattern of record padding and mismatches.
Oh no, I can't see that warning, but
really?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I don't know if it's the Gladiator one that's just been added, or
I don't know if it's Gladiator, because I've seen Gladiator on a lot of opponents. I just don't take much stock in it because it's a really low level promotion. But he has fought in 2000. He's fought a year ago instead of 3. Yeah. So that was going to be one of my things, saying 3 years, no fighting, potential improvements, et cetera, et cetera. So I was just going to take a stab because he seems big. He's a big boy. And he seems a lot more explosive, like the standard Muay Thai striking, whereas Sam is more karate based.
Yeah.
So I just thought, look, maybe it can be competitive. Vincius has a lot more jiu-jitsu oriented gameplay. He has really good ground and pound. He's got a highlight of just his ground and pound on his Instagram, and it's brutal. Like I say, it's definitely ground and pound over submission or anything else. So if he just gets on top, Sam, like I said, Sam has been taken down before. His best defense is the guillotine choke. If he doesn't get the guillotine, but it will be something small. It will be just, stabbing these contender fighters and just hoping that there's improvement. It's just, I mean, why is he the underdog here? Because Sam has a lot of knockouts and Santi has no tape. That has to be it. It's not like someone knows anything that we don't. You know?
The thing is, Sam's not. He's not knocking them out. You know, it's like death by 1,000. Yeah, it's death by 1,000 cuts. It's like he hasn't got one punch KO power.
Other than Silva, where Silva came in with the chin up and he
that was a nice punch.
And Silva is chinny. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think he's just, you know, because Santi has 90% finishes. He can just come out here and just implement the wrestling game plan, and everyone can go, damn, should have. That was a hindsight, you know.
Yeah,
but it's just guesswork. But
maybe fight ends by sub. I don't know.
What was that?
Fight ends by sub might be decent, just because I know Sam wraps it up.
I thought about that. Yeah, I thought about that too.
And Senchi's got 6 submissions out of 7 wins. No, 6.
Literally, it's weird because on tape he looks like a Muay Thai fighter, but at some point the fight ends up on the ground and he just locks up the submission. So, and on his Instagram he's training with the Gracies as well, but he doesn't stipulate his belt. Whereas Sam, I think Sam is predominantly a striker with a good guillotine. I don't think he cares much about grappling.
No. But he does threaten off his back, to be honest, Sam, quite a bit. But it's not like he's, you know, a BJJ phenom or anything. He's just
nah. And Brave's overrated, man. You can get cans in Brave as well. But you know, Sensi, we can't really say much about his.
Did you watch his draw, Sam? I couldn't find.
I would have. Let me just see. Oh, against Ahmad Amir? Yeah, I think so.
Did you? I couldn't. I didn't. I think I don't have Fight TV, so I couldn't watch it.
I got it. It's a good investment, man. Honestly, every week I come on this Contender Series podcast, and I break down a fight that it's not on Tape Index and people can't find it. You literally pay like $5 a month, and you have every single Brave or all the other Gladiator or all the small promotions. It's like cheaper than Fight Pass, and it's been very useful. Obviously, when Contender is over, I might not need it as much. But you know, regional scenes and stuff. To me, it's a good investment personally. Oh, well, we've got a comment here finally. Sansi is a brown belt. Yeah, that made sense. I thought it'd be a brown or a black. So hey, honestly, I might just do it. Quarter unit for the memes. I'm not gonna go last episode of Contender Series with no plays. So I just get a good feeling. I wasn't that impressed with Sam Patterson. So. Okay, main event. I'm sure we can talk even more about this one. So I'll break this one down.
Yeah.
And then I'll let you finish it off with your max bet. Bo Nickal, I mean, what is there to be said? Versus Donovan Beard. Or I assume it's Beard. Just good step up. You know, 7-1. He's not an amazing fighter, Donovan, but he's fighting a lot better level of competition. I find it funny that his name's a highlight reel. He leaves a lot to be desired. He is getting a lot more finishes recently, but the first few fights I was taping, he just seemed like a decision machine, a guy that wants takedowns. He's really not dangerous on top, and everyone just stands up, and he just rinses and repeats. Then in his last few fights, I'm seeing a lot more adversity. Like he lost to Raheem Forrest, who was 3-0, but now he's actually 5-0, and he's in LFA and CFCC. Now this is my caveat. This is my potential player here, right? I'll lead up into it. So Donovan's never been finished, right? He's usually getting taken down, and usually he wins by he either gets his own takedowns, or rounds 2 or 3 later on, when people get tired from taking him down and not being able to finish him, he finishes them, right? He knocks him out, he submits him. He seems to wait. Like in the last fight, it was a 5-round title fight, so he was a lot more slower, but he actually seems to he knew that it was a 5-round fight. If it was a round 3 fight, I've seen him go a lot sooner than that. Never been finished, not even in amateurs. All decision losses, some splits. Raheem Forrest is 5-0 now. He's the only guy that beat him. Now, Raheem Forrest, you look at his record, round 1 armbar, round 1 knockout, round 1 knockout, round 1 knockout. All of his amateurs, apart from one, are finish. So Donovan Beard is the only guy who couldn't finish. He had to wrestle him for three rounds. Now, Bo Nickal, like we know, he's a beast. He's explosive. His first pro fight knocked the guy out, had great hands. Second fight, took the guy down, submitted him, went for a guillotine first, didn't get it, went to the back. The guy's been having grappling competitions with Gordon Ryan. You know, like this guy's been training jiu-jitsu and stand-up at AKA for years before even transitioning to MMA. He's just got so many advantages over Donovan, who can be taken down, like I said. But if you're feeling brave, potentially the over could be a play here. All right. Last time I hammered Bo round 1 at worse than minus 200 odds. Like imagine playing round 1 worse than minus 200. But hey, sometimes they have value. McKinney against Ghost Pepper. I've been hitting him recently the juice on round 1. So hey, he submitted him in 30 seconds. So tell me if that was value or not. But this one, honestly, I can't really advocate playing Beard. Like he's going to be on his back ASAP. Mm-hmm. Might be on his back too. The difference in talent might be so good that even if Donovan survives late and Bo potentially gets tired, Bo can still get sloppy takedowns, you know, in rounds 2 and 3 and just survive on top. You know how these young guys, they do enough and then they're much better from that learning experience. He's never been out of round 1. He's never been over 1 minute. So potentially Donovan, if he survives, again, no one finished him. Bo Nickal could be the first guy. He does seem different. And he's very aggressive and he hunts for the finish. You know, he always wants the guillotine, he always wants to knock out. But obviously, no value for me for Bo. I don't feel comfortable playing him round 1 in this one. This one seems a bit more shaky, like a not a can, a proper opponent. So potentially, maybe you can even live bet Bo if he has some adversity, gets takedown stuffed or gets cracked. We just haven't seen anything. We haven't seen anything. So if you're feeling brave, people probably think he's going to run through this guy in round 1 as well. Maybe we get minus 200 round 1 Bo again, and then the over is going to be quite nice, maybe $3 or something. And even start round 2. Like for example, the Manhoff Romero fight, it was over 1.5 was pick'em. Start round 2 was $1.70. When do you see that? You know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's potentially the only thing I like here. And I mean, I could even make a case for Donovan. You know, it's deep into round 3. Bo's tired. He's never been this far in an MMA fight. So you can't play the favorite. Props are probably going to be horrendous. Maybe the over if you feel brave and look to live bet. How are you saying this?
Yeah, I mean, it's more of just a question of like, how does Bo win? You know, it's. I watched Beard. I saw he was 7-1, so I was like, this is the first fight I take. I was like, I'll get it out of the way. And I was like, 7-1 might be, you know, never been finished, might be promising. And then every fight I watched, he got taken down and was controlled. I was like, okay, I'm not playing Beard, even though he's crazy odds, you know, plus 900, but still, it's, you know, I just feel like it's pointless. Bo's just so good with the wrestling, and he goes to it straight away. He doesn't mess about on the feet. It's annoying. I tweeted out when he first fought on the Contender Series, that I didn't have any plays for the first week, but I was tempted by Bo sub at like plus 225, and of course I didn't play it. And then he subs in, you know, 62 seconds. But I don't think that's going to happen again, to be honest. Like, I don't think he'll get a quick finish over. I mean, if he does, that'll be impressive. I'll be impressed. But yeah, I see it going. I see it going to the second round. It's hard to know what's going to happen. Like, I think Bo at some point will mount him. And then from there, it's like, it's anyone's guess what could happen. He could go for the choke, or he could just ground and pound, but he's not, you know, he's not a small guy. How tall is he? Oh, my computer's frozen. Great.
6'2".
6'2", yeah. So he's not a small guy. Like, I still think he's gonna obviously get him down pretty easily. But yeah, he's not. The Beard's not exactly a one-punch knockout guy, is he?
No.
He almost got finished twice by this Tracy Hardy guy. I'm pretty sure he got like flying knee and then managed to recover, and then he almost got submitted, and then ended up finishing it in the first round. But that was just kind of Hardy. Just looked like he quit. Yeah, I think I'll wait for the over 1.5. Maybe that'll be decent, but then it's going to be sweaty because he's definitely going to be taken down within the first minute. Because he was taken down within a minute versus Miles Lee. He was hurt bad versus Hardy. He was obviously dominated by Forrest. I think he was taken down. I saw him taken down by 7 and 6 William Walker as well.
Yeah, he's not hard to take down.
No, and William Walker, it says he KO'd him in round 3, but if you watch the fight, it's actually just William Walker tapping to strikes. He just gave up. So yeah, I think you can obviously can't play any money lines on this fight. You just have to look at the props over 1.5. Maybe it might be plus money, to be honest. It probably will be plus money. So that might be worth a little sprinkle, but it's not going to be huge. But yeah, not any massive conviction really, except both for the win.
No, it's a hot take, but that's okay. I'll take it. Yeah, and just Donovan also just wants to survive. He hates pressure and he's always backing up. So when he gets taken down, he doesn't give up next or anything. He's just kind of like what was that guy's name that Dennis Tulian just knocked out? Pickett. Pickett's always good for overs because he just runs away. He hates fighting. He's just a pansy boy. This guy's the same. This guy's always backing up, and as soon as you corner him, which I'm sure Bo will corner him, he just falls to his back. So he's like, it's like he feels safer on his back.
He also goes for guillotines as well, which then, it's like, well, obviously you're going to be taken down if you're going for guillotines.
He's going to go for a ride, yeah.
Yeah.
But you never know. Hey, maybe Bo likes getting guillotined in the gym. You never know. Maybe that's his favorite. Maybe that's his favorite way to lose. Who knows? But that's pretty much it, man. I think we gave a few opinions on this card. That's I don't know if it's tough for betting. I think there might be spots. We'll see.
It's definitely not going to be a big card from me. My favorite bets at the moment, Elias. I might just have Elias. I'll probably have more than that, but yeah, I'm definitely going to play Elias. I'm just waiting for my other books to release the lines. Ajim, you say you went half a unit?
Yeah, I did. I got 320, and then you dropped down to 3. So I was like, fuck it, I'll do another quarter unit, and then now it's up to 320 again. So it's obviously the line's gone the other way. But this is like Trey Williams. When I gave you Trey Williams, he was 330, then he dropped to 3, and I was like, nah, I'll leave it. And then and then he went back up to 330 again after I put 1,000 on him. I'm like, what? Who's betting Elijah Harris? They just waited for him to go up to $1.40 and then bet him again.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is sus. And then when I woke up the next day, it was pick'em. So someone has to put money on a gym because Mendoka doesn't look that good, to cover $1.30 favorite. No. He's only submitting bums, and then when he gets to they're not bums, it's going to decision. So how does he cover $1.30 if he's going to decisions? So
yeah,
always like to be knocked out by old mate at gym.
I do worry about like Mendoka's constant shooting and if that's going to work, like wear on a gym. But as you say,
probably
plus 220. Well, you can't go too wrong.
I'll probably reduce because I don't want to lose a half a unit on a shit fight like that. I'm having a good month. I'm trying to hit my target for the year. So I'm ahead of schedule right now. So if I lose like half a unit there and then maybe half a unit on my blind sprinkle on Sansi, it would be a bit annoying. But
what's your target?
For the year, 50,000. 50,000. That's more than the minimum wage in Australia. So it's
nice.
And we don't get taxed here, so 50,000 tax free. I mean, ideally I want more. I've got a mortgage and stuff, so I live an expensive life. So, more than minimum wage would be better. But I've got other stuff on the side too. But
yeah,
I mean, it could be more. If I end the month right now without contender, I just need 5,000 every month, which is 5 units a month. Which is, I mean, I average 2 units an event. I've just been very patient, little sprinkles recently, so it's been a bit slow and steady, but I will get there. My favorite bet, man. I think I might agree with you. It's Elias.
Mm.
And then I don't know. I like this Chancy sprinkle. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? My intuition's been okay. You got to make some of these assumptions on contender. Maybe he gets knocked out. Maybe he's fighting in a fixed promotion, but no, he can strike. I've seen on tape he can strike. He can grapple. So
we see it quite a lot on Contender Series when there's a guy with like very little tape and they're a big dog because there's no tape, and then they come in and win. Like
Simon, for example.
Simon. Like you remember ages ago, Omar Morales barely had any tape versus Harvey Park, I think. And he TK'd him with leg kicks. It's like it just came out of nowhere.
He steamrolled him. He didn't even get touched.
No.
He just picked him apart and then put him away. And this Sensi, what was I going to say? The Simons, I didn't track Simon because he was about $2.60. And everyone, just the whole Twitter, just hammering Kim at -200. And I'm like, dude, what are you guys so confident about? And then I saw the weigh-ins, and literally every fight Simon's in, he grows an inch because he's like 19, then 20, then 21. Yeah. And then at the weigh-ins, he looked bigger than Kim. I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, this kid, he's so aggressive. And then I didn't track it. It was the second fight of the day. And then I saw my bet 365, and it was $3.10. So I was like, I have to now. And then I live bet him after round 2, right before he knocked out Kim in round 3. Yeah. So it was a good one.
Yeah, he's really good. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the UFC. He was impressive.
Yeah, he's got holes, but it's like, dude, he's 21 years old. Like, he looked improved in contender. I'm sure he's going to look improved in UFC as well. But let's wrap it up, man. That was good. Thanks for coming on.
That's all right. Thanks for inviting me.
Let me just do these beautiful like and subscribes. If you're listening, boys, like and subscribe. Go like Kappa's. Oops, wrong one. Ignore that one. But yeah, like him too. Go like Subliminal MMA. He's actually got a lot more Twitter followers than me. I'm jealous, but I'll get there. I'll steal them all. Steal them all over time. Got anything to add, mate? Anywhere they can find you? Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, just on Twitter, really. Subliminal MMA. DM me if you want to chat about fights. Yeah, that's it basically. Hopefully we can end the 2022 Contender Series with a win.
Should be right. Yeah. Even if it's marginal profit. Follow us. Follow us on Twitter if you want our props. When props open up, should be some good ones. No worries, mate. Thank you for that, and good luck, everyone.